Good evening, everyone. I'm going to demonstrate some chair yoga exercises that you can do from the comfort of your own home. So you can grab a chair like I have done, or preferably without arms, or you can do this on the edge of your couch or the edge of your bed, someplace where you can plant your feet nice and firmly on the ground. We're going to remove our socks if we have some on, as yoga is traditionally done sockless, so that we can feel the connection of the soles of our feet on the base of the earth. But if you need your feet to get warmed up, by all means, you can keep them on for just a few moments, and then as we get going, I will invite you to take them off. All right, we're going to sit just on the edge of our chair here, so not fully back in our seat, but just on the edge. And like I mentioned, we're going to firmly plant our feet on the earth. So we're going to imagine that our knees and our ankles are in one long line. And then once we establish that foundation there, that alignment of the knee over top of the ankle, or as best as we can, we're gonna keep the knees in line with the hips. And then we're gonna push into all four corners of the feet. So the big toe mound, the baby toe mound, and the two back corners of the heels. We're gonna really feel this connection. Maybe even take a peek down at your toes and just maybe wiggle them a little bit, or maybe you lift the toes and play with placing one toe down at a time. Now, that's very challenging to do, a little yoga for the brain, of course. And then once you've established that movement there, we'll firmly plant all four corners of the feet, allowing the energy to rise from the arches of the feet through the inseam of the calves, through the knees and up through the thighs. Then we grip to the base of the tailbone. We draw the navel to the spine, and we lift gently, placing our sits bones firmly into our foundation of our chair, imagining that the spine is one long line from the tip of the tail to the tip of the crown, as if we're stacking each vertebrae like blocks in a block center. From here, again, we'll draw the navel close to the spine, supporting that mid-back. Maybe, just maybe, we pull the shoulders away from the ears and down the back body. Just gentle movements here as we get warmed up. As we start to move through these muscles, it might begin to get a little bit easier, or with a little bit more ease, to lift through the heart space. Lifting our heart space towards the skies as we pull the shoulders and the elbows down and away. Maybe we close the eyes, or we find a nice gentle gaze, a dristi, something to focus upon. Sometimes the tip of the nose is always helpful. And as one of my students likes to say, you can find your blurry vision or your soft focus. From here, we're just going to now establish our breath, or think about our breath rather. Just notice, no forcing or pushing. Just notice your breath as we've found our foundation. We've discovered alignment, the stacking of the bones, head over heart and heart over pelvis as best as we can, knees over ankles. Pushing into our foundation, that which is touching the earth and the chair. And now we've noticed our breath, the fabulous three. The breath always comes first. So I invite you to find that gentle gaze, or close down the eyes, and just begin to breathe. Just notice the breath. And as you notice the breath, maybe you feel encouraged to deepen the breath, imagining that you're sending the breath all the way down to the hips, allowing the hands to fall naturally wherever they shall do. They do not have to look like mine. They can be palms up, or palms down, or even perhaps embraced in the lap. No right or wrong, just noticing. Just pausing and pondering as we place our have-tos and our have-nots, our what-ifs and our what-fors, all on hold, as we come together in this collective union that is yoga, connecting with each other, connecting with our space, and connecting within the mind, the body, and the spirit, whatever that might mean to you. I invite you to take a few silent breaths here, reminding yourself to lower the shoulders as best as you can from the ears, even if it's just a millimeter. Imagining the back of the neck is one long extension of the spine. In fact, it is one long line indeed. Just some few deep breaths here as we allow the busy mind to slow down. Amazing. From here, I invite you to take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Really imagine sending this breath towards the hips, whatever that might mean to you. Feel this expansion through the front body. As you exhale, maybe we pull the shoulders back just an inch more or a millimeter more, lifting the heart space just a smidge more, and drop those shoulders down, feeling the lengthening as you inhale and the softening as you exhale. Imagining at the front of the body is this upward current of energy as we engage through our center, pulling that navel up and in, and then we ground down through the back body, that which is touching the earth. Amazing. From here, we're going to bring our fingertips just down to our sides, lifting still through the heart space, pulling those shoulders back. We're going to start with a deep breath in. We're going to use our breath as our guide. Our breath is the fuel for this movement. Where breath ends, movement ends. So from here, we're going to spread the fingers as best as we can, pulling those shoulders back, lifting gently through our beautiful heart space. And then we're going to use the connection of our foundation as we start to breathe in and let the arms rise. My breath ends here. My movement ends with my breath. Exhaling down, breath comes first. In fact, even if you're just sitting and breathing, you are doing yoga. So breathing the hands up. Perhaps you notice as you get going, you find a little bit more space in the shoulders, but maybe not. Especially if you've been shoveling or scraping any ice off your windshield, or just maybe the cool weather is getting to you as you breathe in and go. You may notice some tightness in the shoulders or in the pecs. Perhaps we allow our inhale to fuel this breath in order to not go past our appropriate edge, if you will. Excellent. This time as we send the fingertips up and away, we're going to exhale. We're going to bring our left hand to our right thigh. Our right hand's either going to come towards our hip, the bottom edge of our chair, or if it's available, we can bring our arm to the back of our chair here. Whatever's available to you. I'm finding the back of my chair a little too much of a stretch for me today, so I'm just going to back up the bus a little bit. No pressure to go further than your body needs. In fact, we might accidentally cause more damage or more discomfort if we go too far. So listening to the body, listening to the breath will tell you what to do. So in this little gentle twist here, we're gonna, instead of using the back muscles and the side muscles, those oblique muscles, to pull us towards our right side, in fact, we're gonna use the connection of our hand on our thigh, so our left hand on our thigh, and our right hand on our chair or our hip or the back of the chair. We're gonna use our inhale to find this length. So imagine that you're a giraffe reaching to the top leaf of that tree. One long extension from the tip of the tail to the crown. As you exhale, you're going to really pull your navel towards your spine, your belly button towards your spine. That's what's going to allow this twist to happen. So we're not pushing or forcing, but rather allowing the breath to guide us there. Looking forward to feeling better instead of worse. So really allowing our breath to guide us here. Taking a deep breath in again, imagine this breath is expanding you. Use your exhale to draw your navel to spine and gently come back to center. Great stuff. We're going to send the hands just past the knees before we take it to the other side. And we're going to allow the fingertips to drape as best as we can. Your reach may not look like mine, and that's okay. So using your body. Everybody and every body are unique, and therefore everybody and every body move uniquely. We're going to slide the hands past the thighs, letting the shoulders creep up to the ears. We're going to take the deepest breath we've taken thus far. We're going to roll the shoulders back and down. We're going to allow the breath to escape the lips. Great job. We're going to do that 2 more times. Breathing the shoulders up, looping them back and down. Last one, make it count. Release that which no longer serves you with your breath. Great stuff. Setting the fingertips down again, allowing our breath to guide our movement as we breathe in and reach. Nice and gentle. Exhale to fall. Maybe you'd like to wiggle the fingertips, maybe not. Breathing in again. We're going to do a total of 3 lifts. Exhale down. Maybe you'd like to get the neck involved and send the nose towards the fingers. If you are prone to headaches, you might like to keep the eyesight down towards the floor. That was our 3rd rise. So this time we'll take our right hand to our left thigh. The right hand will come behind, either to our hip, to the back of the chair, bottom of the chair, the seat of the chair rather, or the top of the chair. Again, I'm feeling much too much of a stretch there today, so I'm going to come back. Not comparing ourselves to yesterday or days past or too far into the future, but rather staying present with our breath. Using our breath and our foundation, to find that beautiful length through the spine. Use the exhale to gently twist, letting the exhale guide the movement rather than forcing or pushing with the muscles. Another deep breath in. We'll gently exhale back through center. Wonderful stuff. Take a wiggle or a jiggle. Maybe you need to stand for a second or 2. Just kind of get into the body, especially if this is new movement to you. It can feel very arbitrary or very challenging to sit up through the back muscles there, especially we tend to live in a world where we hunch forward. And no judgments. I'm there myself. I use yoga to correct my shoulders. And for me, true yoga happens off the chair or off the mat. When I notice these things when I'm cooking or working or doing other things in my day-to-day activity, when I notice these habits that we create for comfort, we are able to find that lift so we can allow the breath to flow freely through the spine. Once you've taken enough organic movement there, we're going to come back to stillness, coming back to our seated Tadasana or mountain pose. Again, trying our best to keep the knees over the ankles as best as we can and preventing the thighs from coming in together. Those adductor muscles really like to come in. We're going to train those muscles today to stay nice and taut so that we can get some stretches in there and also build some strength and stability. Great stuff. We're going to get some movement into the neck here. So now we're going to use our nose as our guide. As we breathe in, we're going to send the nose towards where the ceiling and the wall meet. So being very careful not to go too far back to crunch any of those vertebrae or nerve endings in the back of the neck. As you exhale, maybe you draw your chin towards your chest. Does not have to be a big move. Maybe it looks like this for you today. Maybe you're able to bring the chin down into the chest, but perhaps not, just listening to the body. If you feel any pinching, any pulling, any discomfort, I invite you to just back up the bust just a tiny bit. For just even little millimeters of movement can be just as beneficial, if not more beneficial, than pushing ourselves past what feels good. So again, keeping that navel towards the spine to support that low back. And then again, we breathe in, sending the nose towards where the wall and the ceiling meet. And then exhaling to fall. You might like to keep the eyes open and allow the eyesight to follow. Again, if you are prone to headaches, we'll keep the eyes towards the floor as we move the neck up and down. Breathing in to rise and exhaling to fall. You do not need to be in sync with me or anyone else for that matter, but really we want to practice being in sync with our own breath, with our own body. And I'll begin to count us down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll meet with our head back over our heart and our heart over our pelvis as best as we can. Take a little organic movement if you need, maybe play with the feet a little bit or move the knees in and out, maybe take a stand or two, perhaps just allowing the body to get some blood flow if you need. And then we'll bring our body back to stillness, stacking the head over heart, heart over pelvis, and again making sure or trying our best to keep the knees over the ankles, pushing into all 4 corners of the feet, our strong and sturdy seated Tadasana or mounted pose. Now we're just going to take the nose on a left to right journey, and then we're going to take it down into the chest. So starting with our breath into center, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, take your nose over your right shoulder, breathing back into center, and then exhaling over left shoulder. And no need to really focus too much on which shoulder you're doing, which side. Just enjoy this movement. Enjoy your connection of your breath, and just really check in with the body. Again, your movement may not look like mine or anyone else's, but staying true to yourself, the true journey of yoga, trying to come back to our true self, perhaps our inner child, as some may envision when they consider coming back to our true self. Using your inhale to come to center and the exhale to gently twist towards the shoulder. I'll begin to count us down for 5 and 4, 3. Maybe you like to close the eyes for these last 2 beats. 2 and 1. We'll bring the nose back into center. We're going to take the deepest breath we've taken thus far. And use your exhale to bring the chin down into the chest. Still pulling those shoulders back. I felt mine kind of creeping forward there, so just a gentle reminder here. And then from here, we're going to breathe into center, really feeling the center belly. As you exhale, we'll gently bring right ear over right shoulder. And we're going to ask ourselves here, what are we looking for? Are we looking to restore energy into the body? If so, this is where we'll stay. Getting a gentle stretch, perhaps a very generous stretch behind the left ear, into the left trap there, down the neck, and all the jaw muscles there that tend to get very tight as we tend to look down a lot in our life. And if you'd like to deepen the stretch, if you're looking for a release in the neck muscles or a deeper stretch, maybe, just maybe, you send the left fingers out and point the fingers towards the face as best as possible. Breathing deeply. It is the breath that fuels the asanas, the postures, the movements. And you can play with the level of that hand there. Raising the hand will deepen the stretch, and lowering will lessen the stretch. So just asking yourself what you need today. And I always like to approach the mat or the chair with the notion of, just because I walked in the wrong room does not mean I need to stay in the wrong door. Or sorry, excuse me, just because I walked in the wrong door does not mean I need to stay in the wrong room. Getting relaxed, it's working. Excellent. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, we'll gently bring the left hand back to the lap and gently bring the head back over the heart. Take a deep breath in again. Exhale, bringing chin towards the chest. And then we'll gently bring left ear over left shoulder. Again, checking in with the body. What do I need here? Am I looking for restoration? Is this where I stay? Maybe noticing that each side of the body are very different, which is extremely normal. Hatha, meaning to find that balance between the two. But balance doesn't always mean 50-50. Sometimes balance means 80-20. Sometimes balance means 70-30. So just kind of checking in here, noticing how maybe each side is very different. Okay. And again, if you want to deepen the stretch, you can send the right fingertips out and away. Ooh, feeling that right through even the metacarpals in the back of the hand there. This is so good for carpal tunnel, or perhaps to loosen up some muscles there that might be feeling very, very tight. If you clench your jaw in your sleep like I tend to do, you might really feel a very generous stretch through the side of the neck here. Or if you work on computers or look down a lot, or perhaps like to read or knit. Take a deep breath in. Use the exhale to bring the right hand back to the lap, and we'll gently stack head over heart and heart over pelvis. Again, taking any organic movement you might need, maybe tick-tocking the hips, maybe a wiggle or a jiggle, maybe let the shoulders fall forward for a beat or two. And then when you're ready, we'll meet back with the shoulders pulling back and away, lifting through the heart space, stacking head over heart and heart over pelvis. Wonderful work. For these next few movements, we're going to be using the legs and the heels and the feet. However, we're going to fuel this movement from our center. As our center becomes stronger, we're less likely to tip over and tumble, or if we do, maybe a little less likely to become deeply injured from that incident. So we're going to begin on the right side, and we're going to do some heel lifts. So on the right side, we're going to start by breathing in, coming up onto the right toes, lifting through the right heel. And again, yours might not look like mine. And oh, excuse me, I forgot to mention at the beginning of practice, if your feet do not quite make it to the floor, you could always use blocks. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that much sooner. Okay. So if you need to use a block, they are always available to you as well. And that could kind of take some of the pressure out of the glute and the hamstring there. Alrighty, so if you're using your block, it may look like this. And if you're not using your block, it may just look like this. Maybe I'll just pivot just for demonstration purposes. Maybe you just lift your heel, even just energetically, just that notion of lifting the heel. Okay, all right, and so again, heel is lifted, we exhale to lower the heel. Inhale to lift the heel, exhale to lower, inhale to lift, exhale, lower, inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. We're going to take it to the left side now. So still stacking head over heart, still pulling those shoulders back and away, and still allowing the breath to fuel the movement. Inhale, lifting the left heel. Again, it may just be energetically, not physically. And exhale to lower, still working the muscles, still working the brain. Breathing in to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Excellent. Take a second to wiggle or jiggle if you need to. Maybe stand for a beat or two. Maybe open and close the knees or tick-tock them one side or the other. And then we'll start with our toe lifts. So keeping the heel on the ground now. Starting on the right side again. Breathing in and lifting the toes. Again, this may be energetically, or maybe physically, but maybe we just lift the toes, just a smidge, like a paper's width height between the floor and the toes. It does not have to be a big movement by any means. Breathing in to lift and exhaling to lower. Breathing in to lift, working the calf muscles here as well. Exhale to lower while getting a stretch through the feet. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower, one moving part. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale to lower. We're going to take it to the left side now. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Good for circulation in the feet. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. And last one. Inhale. And exhale. Great stuff. Take any organic movement you need. That wiggle, that jiggle. And then we'll come back to center. Staying hydrated if you need to, so taking sips of water throughout practice. If you are feeling parched, that will fuel our muscles if we stay nice and hydrated, especially after practice. That will become very important. All right, from here, now we're going to lift both heels at the same time. So both heels at the same time. So starting with our inhale to lift and our exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. Maybe we notice we're getting a little more movement, or we're still at that paper's width between the floor and the heels. No pressure to lift higher than the body allows. Last one. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Now we're going to go right to our toe lifts. So inhale, lifting both sets of toes. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. You're doing great. Stay with it. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Take that organic movement if you need it. Maybe you get that wiggle in the spine. Do what you need to do. Again, you can stand for a beat or two if you need. And then coming back, stacking through our foundation and our alignment. And then we're going to alternate heel lifts and toe lifts, doing both at the same time. So, lifting the heels, breathing in. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the toes. Exhale, lower. Inhale, heels. Exhale, lower. Inhale, toes. Exhale, lower. Inhale, heels. Exhale, lower. Inhale, toes. Exhale, lower. Heels, lower. Toes, and lower. Amazing stuff. Take that wiggle or jiggle. And then we'll restack through our alignment and foundation. Allow the fingers to fall wherever they do, just a little past the knees here. And then we'll breathe the shoulders up and away. Exhale out through the mouth. Excellent. 2 more times just like that. Exhale. And one more. Amazing stuff. All right, we're coming back to our foundation. From here, we're going to hold on to the knees and we're going to come to a cat-cow variation. Now, if you're familiar, you'll know that cow is when we send the heart space forward. Our pelvis tilts backwards. And then we come back, we tilt the pelvis forward, we come into this hollowing cat-like shape through the body. Now this may look and feel different for everybody, even if it's just a little micro movement. You're still waking up through the spine, you're still getting that stretch through the pecs, and you're waking up all the nitty-gritties in those dark places. Excellent, so shining a light in those dark places we shall. Again, holding on to the knees, using the knees as our leverage. Breathe in, send the heart space forward. Again, it could be just a very small movement, just like this. Exhale to round. And as we get warmed up, I do encourage that you do start slow. And as you get warmed up, you may feel inspired to move a little deeper. And exhale to round through. If you are all by your lonesome, which you are your own best friend, so I guess you're never fully alone, you may like to let out a moo or a meow just for fun, maybe just even bring a smile to your face. At this time that I'm filming the video, we are in the midst of our winter's blues, so maybe just boosting those endorphins with a little laughter might suit your fancy today. Breathing in to lift and exhaling to round through. Careful not to crunch the back of the neck like I just almost did. We want to keep the neck nice and long. Lots of nerve endings back there, and we don't want to accidentally do any damage there. Excellent. And I'll begin to count us down for 5. Maybe close the eyes. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll all meet in our cat position. If you're not already there, join us there. So that's rounding through the spine, bringing chin to chest, drawing navel to spine. Pelvis is tilting forward. We're using the hands as leverage here. We're going to take a deep breath in here. Use your exhale to slowly rise back up, bringing your head over heart and your heart over pelvis. Nice and slow. Excellent job. We're just going to get rid of some nitty-gritties here, taking any organic movement you shall need. All right, great stuff. From here, we're going to bring the arms, we're going to bend the arms into cactus-like arms, and then we're going to bring the arms together in front of the body. Maybe, just maybe, the arms don't quite make it together, and that's okay. If you're working here, wonderful. You're working here, wonderful. And maybe one day we can come here. But maybe that's a chapter for another day, and maybe not at all. So wherever you are, we're coming to bring the hands parallel to each other, lifting through the elbows. We're still pulling those shoulders back and down. I notice mine were creeping forward there, so really actively pulling those shoulders back. Lifting through the chest, still pushing into all 4 corners of the feet here, allowing our breath to fuel our movement. As we breathe in, we're going to open the arms wide, and we're going to exhale, bring the arms back together as best as we can. Breathing in to open, exhale to close, inhale to open, exhale to close. And you can mix and match with your widths. No need to always come here. In fact, sometimes we find ourselves in these patterns and routines that are actually more harmful than good. So just listening to the body. My arms and chest and back are feeling a little tight from shoveling snow today, so I'm going to listen to my body as well. Breathing in to expand and exhaling to contract. Excellent. Lowering the arms down, we'll shake it out. Let it all go. Shake, 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 shake it all out. Maybe even get the feet involved. Just getting the blood flow through the body here. Excellent stuff. Maybe tick-tock the knees one side and the other. Excellent. Here we go. Sitting up tall in our chair again, pushing into our foundation. We're going to lift through our chest and pull those shoulders down. Excellent stuff. I'm just going to adjust my blocks here. If you need to do the same, you can. In fact, I do invite you to bring your block in between the legs here. So you can use both blocks if you need. We're going to come into a forward fold variation. So what that means is we're going to bend at the waist and bring our upper body to meet our lower body. So if you'd like to use your blocks, you can always, if you have blocks, if you don't have blocks at home, you can always use books or something similar to this shape here. So anything that may make the earth rise up to you. If you have a lower coffee table, you could totally use that, or any piece of furniture that you may have available. I recognize that not everybody may have a block, but if you do, awesome. If not, no worries. Maybe even a laundry basket or something like that could come in between, or you just don't go as far and you allow the hands to land where they do. Whatever's available to you today. We're going to come back to the fingers to our sides. We're lifting those shoulders back and away, lifting through our chest. We're going to use our breath to fuel this movement as we breathe in and reach for the sky. As we exhale, we're going to draw our navel to the spine, bending at the waist, not rounding through the back as much, but rather bending at the waist. We're going to bring our hands towards either our blocks, whatever level we may have them. It may even look like this, reaching for the feet. Or I can even just bring my hands to my tops of my thighs here. Whatever's available to me. Still pulling that navel to spine, taking deep breaths here in our seated forward fold. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, draw your navel to spine. This is going to slowly rise you back up, looping the shoulders back and away, and breathe out. Excellent job. From here, we're going to do that a few more times. We're going to do a total of 3, so that was 1. So let's do 2 more, using your blocks if you need to. Breathing in to reach. And exhale, bending at the waist and reaching towards your block. Again, this is always, hands to the tops of the thighs is always available to you if you need. Take a deep breath in and use your exhale to draw navel to spine. To support that low back, you can always walk the hands up the body if you need. We'll loop the shoulders back and down. Breathe out. And 1 more, spreading the fingers nice and wide as best as you can, breathing in, allowing that energy to radiate from the fingers. And exhaling down towards your block or towards your feet, whatever's available to you. Deep breath in here. Exhale to draw the navel in to support the back, looping the shoulders, allowing the crown to be the last to unfold as we exhale and let the shoulders drop. Great stuff. All right, we're just going to move our blocks to the side. And we're going to walk our heels. So I like to, so we'll start with our heels where they were, and then we'll send heels and then toes, heels and toes, until we come to this seated goddess-like pose or saddle-like pose. What we're looking for here is to bring the knees and the hips and the toes about in the same plane. So all the hips The knees and the toes are kind of pointing in the same direction. We're still pushing into all four corners of their feet. We're still allowing that energy to rise up through the inseam of the legs. We're still drawing navel up and in. We're still pushing firmly into our foundation, allowing ourselves to rise from the ground up. We're lifting through our heart space. We're dropping the shoulders back and down. Great stuff. From here, we're going to still maintain that lift in the chest, but we're going to bring our left arm down to our left thigh. Maybe this is where we stay. Maybe we're feeling a very generous stretch through our side body, and this is where we might stay. Bus stop number 1, excuse me. And then maybe, just maybe, with our top hand, if this is available to us, we'll send it behind the right ear, breathing in and up, and just getting even a little bit deeper of a stretch, reaching towards the left side. If this is not available to you, you've taken this route and you're like, that does not feel good in my shoulder, maybe you'd like to come to this chicken wing arm, as I like to call it, really ancient term there, chicken wing arm. Or maybe we keep the hand down towards the waist. All right, taking your best version here, take a deep breath in. Use your exhale to draw that navel up and in, and we'll take it to the other side. Right elbow to right thigh. Checking in here, noticing, is this enough? Or do I want a little bit more? And send the hand behind the ear and towards the right side. Or maybe I come to this chicken wing-like arm, staying nice and long through the neck, our extension of the spine. Deep breath in here. Exhale to rise and take it back to the left side, sending the right arm up and away, or wherever is available to you today. And exhale to switch. We're going to do one more round on each side. Exhale to switch. Mixing and matching perhaps, keeping that neck nice and long. Exhale to switch, inhale to reach, or our version. And then we're exhale. We're going to restack head over heart, heart over pelvis. And then we're just going to gently walk the toes in, the heels in, the toes in, the heels in, and bringing them back in alignment. The knees, the toes, the hips, the pelvis, the navel, the heart, the shoulders, the crown. Going through our loving checklist. The checklist is what keeps me grounded in my practice, keeping that busy mind at bay. Excellent stuff. From here, we're going to work on some heel extensions. So this time, we're going to send the heel out long. If we're using our blocks, we might like to bring it just a little bit ahead here, or if we're using it to bring the earth up to us, we might just place it there so that we can extend the knee towards the block, or the heel rather towards the block. Otherwise, our foundation is still the same. And here we go. So if we're using the blocks, it might look like this. Breathing in to extend, and then exhaling to bring it back in. If the knee is not capable of fully extending, or that's not feeling good to you today, we will not force or push that. Perhaps our hip flexors are very tight, perhaps our hamstring is tight, or perhaps it's just not in our anatomy. So being very mindful of that. Everyone will keep at least a micro bend in the knee, or if not, a very generous bend in the knee. Our extension could very much just look simply like this. Okay, so I'm just going to move the blocks aside. If you need to use yours or your books, please do. And here we go. Breathing in to extend. Everyone's keeping at least that little bend in the knee. Exhale, bring it back in. Then we'll take it to the left side. Breathing in to extend. And exhale to bring it back in. Inhale to extend. Exhale to bring it back in. Inhale to extend. Exhale, bring it back in. Inhale to extend. Exhale, bring it back Inhale, extend. Exhale, bring it back in. And last round. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bring it back in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bring it back in. Amazing stuff. Just close down the eyes or find that gentle gaze, that drishti or focal point. And just check in with how you feel. Noticing the breath. Is the breath labored and fast? Is the breath slow and smooth? Or is the breath big and bright? No right, no wrong. Just noticing. Our breath is the big communicator of how we are feeling. It's just a matter of catching up with the breath to notice. Amazing stuff. Take a little organic movement if you need, a little sway in the spine or in the neck, which is an extension of the spine, of course. And maybe we tick-tock the knees one side or the other. Maybe we take a moment to stand. Just checking our time here. I'm notorious for not setting my timer, which is sitting right there. Amazing stuff, everyone. Let's all tick-tock the knees if we haven't taken that option and if it's available to you. We'll bring our foundation and our alignment back into play using our breath, and then we'll just send the knees one way and then the other. Feels really good in the hips and in the inner thighs, especially if you've been doing any other movement like shoveling or walking, or maybe we're just stiff from the cool weather or from life. Life tends to do that to us, doesn't it? Amazing, everyone. We've come down to our closing posture, our best version of Shavasana. So you are welcome, if you have the space available to you, and if that's available, that you can come down onto your back, and that might look like this, excuse me. You might come down onto your back. Maybe, just maybe, you are able to keep the knees bent and maybe walk the knees in together. Maybe you extend the heels out long, coming into more of a traditional Shavasana. Hands can be on the body or to your sides. Maybe, just maybe, you'd like to use your chair here and come into a version of legs up a wall or Stonehenge, if you will, and allow the legs to come onto the chair. Oh, that feels really, really nice. Taking a lot of pressure out of the thighs and the hips. Oh, that does feel really, really nice. Really nice option here. And again, the hands can rest on the body or to your sides. If neither of these are available to you, and you have your chair or your couch, I simply invite you to sit back all the way in your chair. Maybe you extend the heels, maybe you keep the knees bent and come together. A version of where you can come to fully and completely surrender your body weight to your space. Now this is where I would turn down the lights, perhaps some soft music. If it's available to you, maybe you involve some essential oils, maybe a blanket or a pillow. Anywhere where you can come to fully and completely surrender to your space, trusting your foundation or the surface you're upon, whether it's your chair, your couch, or the floor, your mat. Just allow yourself to sink into your space. Imagining that your space is rising up to you. Maybe you like to close the eyes or find a nice gentle gaze. Scanning through the body. taking any organic movement that might feel necessary in order to fully and completely surrender. For it is said the asana practice or the postures are merely only parts of the recipe for surrender, for stillness. Trusting yourself, trusting this time, and trusting this space. Starting with the tips of the toes, we'll bring some awareness as if we were sending our eyesight down to the tips of the toes and the soles of the feet, the tops of the feet. No need to do or change anything here. Just simply notice. And perhaps by noticing, you can provide yourself with the grace to soften in this space, releasing that which no longer serves you into the earth to stay. Allowing this awareness to grow towards the ankles, the shins, the calves, the low part of the leg. No need to do or to change anything, but simply notice. And perhaps by noticing, you provide yourself with the grace to soften in this space, releasing that which no longer serves you into the chair to stay, or your surface to stay. Allowing this awareness to grow towards the knees, the thighs, the tops of the thighs, the inner seam, the outer seam, and the underneath, the hamstring. A common space to hold and to grip in search of holding ourselves up here. See if we can allow this to soften, to release and to let go as you trust this space, trust this time, and trust yourself. Releasing that which no longer serves you. As this awareness continues to grow towards the hips, the glutes, the pelvis, another space that is common to hold and to grip. Seeing if we can allow this to release and let go. Finding the grace to soften in this space, to trusting ourselves, trusting this time, and trusting this space. As this awareness continues to grow towards the low abdomen, the low back, the sacrum and the coccyx, towards the navel and the lumbar spine, our digestive tract, towards our rib cage, our low ribs, our diaphragm space, our breathing muscle, our willpower. Noticing anywhere here you may be holding or gripping. And seeing if you can allow that to soften, to release and to let go. Trusting yourself, trusting this time, and trusting this space. To release that which no longer serves you into the earth to stay. As this awareness continues to grow up the thoracic spine, through the rib cage and towards your sternum, and your beautiful, beautiful heart space. Noticing anywhere here you may be holding or gripping. And perhaps just by noticing, you can provide yourself with the grace to soften in this space, releasing that which no longer serves you into the earth to stay. Scanning through your fingertips, the length of your fingers, the knuckles, the palms, the wrists, forearms, elbows, biceps, triceps, shoulders. Noticing anywhere here you may be holding or gripping, and seeing if you can allow that to soften as you trust this space, trust this time, and trust yourself. To release that which no longer serves you into the earth to stay. As this awareness continues to travel up the throat and the neck, towards the jaw and the chin. Perhaps the lips begin to part, or the tongue becomes heavy in the mouth. The cheeks and the nose, the ears and under eye, the in between the brow, our emotional intelligence, allowing all the ripples of the forehead smooth like glass. Checking in with the scalp and all the way to the tip of the crown. Imagine this awareness embracing you here, from the tip of the crown to the tip of the tail, from the tip of the tail to the tip of the toe, capturing you here and letting it be so, allowing yourself to release that which no longer serves you into the earth to stay, with hopes of restoring energy within. Going to give you a few silent breaths here. Try to trust that you are exactly where you're meant to be, and give yourself permission to do absolutely nothing for just a mere moment more. And perhaps the nothing will become the ultimate something. Amazing job. We'll slowly bring a little movement back into the body. We'll begin by wiggling the toes, maybe rotating through the ankles or tick-tocking the feet one way or the other. Maybe you bring one ear to one shoulder and then the other. Maybe you rotate through the wrists or wiggle the fingers. And no need to do all of the things. Take what serves you. Leave behind what does not. And then we'll take this little dance we've created, and if the eyes are closed, we'll go ahead and open them. And we'll slowly come back up to our upright position. If you did take the laying down position, you are welcome to stay in that position or slowly make your way to a comfortable seat, whether on the floor in a crisscross position or kneeling, which would look maybe like this, or maybe like this. Or maybe you're laying flat on your back. Or maybe you've joined us on the chair. We're all going to bring our hands together, Anjali Mudra at the heart space, prayer position. As we lift our heart space towards our thumbs, we'll all take a great big breath in together, a collective breath, if you will. As we exhale, we'll bow forehead towards our hands, our intellectual body towards our physical and emotional body. The light in me honors and recognizes the light in you. Together we'll say, Namaste. Well done, everyone. Thank you for sharing your time and energy with me. I hope your hips and your low back feel a little bit better. You might feel a little tenderness through the arms tomorrow. But otherwise, have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time. Take good care. Toodles.